if we distill the absolute essence of the West, it would be the supremacy and responsibility of the individual and the internalization of the law of love. The individual as precious, the most precious thing on earth, is the one overarching theme that links the Renaissance, the Reformation, the Enlightenment, the revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries, and the great democracies of the 20th and 21st. It is born out of Greco-Judaic-Roman thinking and is what made us who we are. This is not a Russian idea or Chinese. They have always been collectivist cultures where the individual can be sacrificed to a higher good. It is a Western idea where the individual is declared the most precious thing on earth and given privileges and protections never before accorded in history. And in exchange for this honor, the individual is saddled with responsibility for his own actions and his own destiny. And furthermore, he is expected to act in accords with his better angels and for the betterment of other individuals around him. Your freedom to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. This is the first pillar of our Western inheritance in a nutshell. The second is the rule of law, as initially set down by Moses, but continued onward through an infinite succession of laws laid down by kings and parliaments and legislatures. But since the making of laws tends to become as infinite as the number of ways to commit wrongdoing, Christ gave us a brilliant simplification. Love your neighbor as yourself, for in this lies the essence of the law. So the second great pillar of being Western is the imperative to internalize the law as love for one's neighbor. It sounds simplistic, but it works. If one loves one's neighbor, one will intuit not to kill or rob or slander him, and all of the law will be covered. These two concepts, in their most pared down and elegant form, are the essence of being Western. If we distill the absolute essence of the East, taking China as the oldest and grandest manifestation, it would be the supremacy of cooperation and the maintenance of calm rationality in the face of all the slings and arrows of life. If you've ever spent time in China in a business context, as I have, you will have observed what happens when an apparently intractable problem arises. The Chinese in the room huddle and begin what from the outside appears to be an animated and even contentious discussion. Opinions fly, and several people seem always to be speaking at the same time. This can go on for some time. What's happening is a collective session of Chinese-style brainstorming. The proposal in rapid fire of one idea after another, the vigorous an unconstrained debate of each idea, the efficacious and rather ruthless elimination of some, refinement and improvement of others, and eventually selection of a best one. When the latter occurs, the discussion seems to calm down, the volume decreases, and finally stops. The huddle disbands, and the group rejoins the meeting. Then a selected spokesman presents the idea, and the assumption is that it will be accepted without further debate. And here's the miracle. Every Chinese person, even if they'd oppose the idea in the huddle, rallies around it. The even greater miracle is that each of these Chinese takes up his role in the execution of this solution, regardless of whether it was his idea or not. And the ultimate miracle, the solution, 9 times out of 10, works. This is the supremacy of cooperation, and it is a thing of wonder and magic to behold. This is the first part of being Eastern. The second part is what you see every moment of the day on a busy Shanghai street. Millions of people cross at countless intersections with millions of encounters, bumps, and inconveniences caused by such crowding. And yet, there's never a crossword, never an argument, never a fight. They simply bounce off each other, part ways, and placidly continue on their way, seemingly unaware of the inconvenience. And this is a metaphor for all the other inconveniences in life. They meet all the slings and arrows, from the barking of a dog outside their window to their own personal death, with a calm Confucian rationality and quiet acceptance. These two great cultural gifts are, in their most pared down and elegant form, the essence of being Eastern. America and China have confronted each other in the last few years with increasing bellicosity. China, in the last 3 decades, has sold its soul to the god of material progress. America had already done so for the last 3 centuries. The confrontation today involves the exchange of technologies, rare earths, agricultural goods, and petroleum products. It involves sovereign debt, exchange rates, and currency protection. Otherwise stated, it involves the most basic and least spiritual elements of life: products, things, money. In a word, trade. There is no exchange of what is most precious in each culture and what is most needed by the other. There is no exchange of Western individualism and internalized law for Eastern collective problem solving and cheerful resignation. My Chinese friends seem starved for what we have. My friend Elsa from Shanghai writes me of the soul-sapping drudgery of her 65-hour work weeks. My friend Anthony from Boston writes me of the terror of living in America with its orange wrecking ball of a president and his Hobbesian war of everyone against everyone. Both are starving for what the other civilization can offer. And yet, what do? Levy tariffs on each other, erect trade barriers, and threaten nuclear war over Taiwan. Things, 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 money, 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 land, land, land. And this precious sharing moment is lost.